Okay, the next stage is to remove the brake pedal to give you access to this front linkage bolt. On my bike, it has offset foot pegs to the back, so they get in the way of this bolt. But on a stock foot peg, you can access this without taking the peg off. The brake pedal comes off very easily. There's just you take needle nose pliers, remove this spring. You just grab this spring up here and curl it out. There's a nut on the back here that requires a 13mm wrench, and this requires a 45mm or 45 Torx. And so I've already loosened this. That bolt comes out. Then and you just drop this, and it'll come right out the front. Down and out of the way. We do that to get access to this bolt down here, which requires a 17mm socket. But the first thing you want to do is to remove the rear nut. You have to remove this nut. I've already loosened this, and it comes off easily. It's not even Loctite from the factory. So remove this nut. Then if you'll lift up on the back wheel or the swing arm with one arm, push on with the other hand, it will come out easily. So I'm going to jiggle on the swing arm a little bit, and then the bolt comes right out. Now this will drop down, and I've already heated the nut on the other side and loosened the Loctite. This linkage has been off of here several times on this bike. This is my test mule. So I've already got this bolt loosened up. You can get to it with a 17mm 6-point socket. And the reason you want that nut to cool on the other side is because you need to push the nut towards you as you're loosening this bolt to keep the nut, the flat side of the nut, matched up with the cutout in the frame so that the nut doesn't spin. If you do that, it comes out very easily. Pull that bolt out, and the nut. This is what the nut looks like. It's got a flat side to it. It's got a cone shape, but it's got a flat side. That flat side matches the cutout in the frame on the other side. So remove that big bolt and the linkage. Now this is a good time to lubricate your linkage bearings, because the factory doesn't put very much grease on them, so you can push that sleeve out of there and lubricate the linkage bearings on both sides. And you can push it to this side and lubricate that. What you want to make sure is that you don't have grease in this hole when you put the bolt back in, because that will get grease in the threads, and then the Loctite will not adhere to the threads. So from there, we've got to mount the linkage plate, the link skid onto the linkage piece. And you can do it by mounting these on and then assembling it that way. I prefer to mount these plates together first. So you stick this, the longest bolt that comes with the kit goes in the very back. And then there's a spacer. And then this goes on. And then some red Loctite. Or any type of thread locker. I prefer 271 red. Even though this is a small bolt, I just use a very small amount on it. And the flange nut goes on next. You can tighten that down, or just snug it. You don't want to tighten it. So just kind of snug it. Now you can slide this onto the link. And this, the linkage, there is a right and a left. The left side is the one that has the cutout for this bolt, because that back bolt has a flat on it, and that has to match up with this. So that's the left side. So now the link plates are on, and just to kind of hold everything together, the next step is to put on the little side link plates. And these are a self-threading bolt, just like what's used on the plastic shields on handguards. And so you should put a little bit of WD-40 on those. These have already been threaded, but there are no threads in here when you receive the kit, so you'll have to push on them a little bit as you install them, and then they will self-thread. I don't tighten these down yet because you want this to get centered, so go to the other side and install the other link plate. Not the link plate, the side plate, excuse me. And just snug it down a little, push it down. And I don't tighten those all the way until the linkage is installed in the bike, because it will kind of self-center itself in the front of the frame, in the front where it fits into the frame, excuse me. From there you've got to put the bottom piece on. And it wraps around the front linkage here, and it's a little bit of a snug fit, so you push on it, snaps into position, and then you put the 6mm bolts in with the 10mm heads, and they actually don't just push right in, you've got to kind of screw them in, and then do it on both sides. Then there's locking flange nuts that go down inside of here. There's two of those, one for each bolt. And you can set it down and hold that with the 10mm box end while you tighten it down. Also at this stage you can tighten the back bolt all the way. Now the side plates, these little side plates are still loose. We'll wait till we get it up in the frame before we tighten those. So from here it's ready to assemble up into the bike. It's got the bottom piece with the wraparound in the front. This really makes the unit very strong, this wraparound function. So now it's ready to go back in, and you basically just reverse what you did before. It goes easily back up into the frame. You stick the front bolt in. Okay, so it's not going in easily because the front wheel, the back wheel has dropped down too far. So right down here, I have a little block to stick underneath. And you can use any kind of like just a piece of 2x4 or something like that. And now that's where the bolt will slide right in. And now the bolt's in. So the whole key to getting this front bolt in is to have the back wheel up just a few inches, so that there's not pressure on this area here to where it fits correctly. From there, the back linkage bolt goes in. It goes in from the other side. This cutout on it, you can have it facing up so that it clears the chain as you bring it through. And once again, you've got to lift up on the back wheel. Actually, on this one, I'm going to have to lower the back wheel just a little bit. Well, I can get the bolt in there and then rotate the bolt to where it fits on the flat on the other side. And put the nut on and torque everything. Both of these large bolts torque to 59 foot-pounds or 80 newton meters. 59 foot-pounds or 80 newton meters, whichever you prefer. I also use red Loctite, the 271 red on both of them, just a small amount. And then you can tighten down these little side plates to center it, and it's done. There's the side plate on this side and one on the other side. Make sure you snug both of those up. Then you can put your brake pedal back on. Double check everything to work. Make sure you've got it tight, and you're done. If you have any questions, you can give us a call or drop us an email, preferably at jeff@slavensracing.com. Thank you.